in the same vein, talking about getting those plant-based foods more into your diet. I guess the color for the next one is white. And, you know, obviously that's not considered a color, but it certainly has specific nutrients that are pulled out from there as well. So don't be shy to have things like cauliflower, turnips, potatoes, onions, garlic. Those are the white family. Now, I know that this one, I believe it's a soup, so nice time of year to get cozy with a hot cup of something. And, you know, why not make it meatless?
Yeah. Okay. So for this soup, we're using, this is one of my favorite ingredients. I think it's super underrated as well. It's a parsnip. So love, especially in the wintertime. Like, you know, we lean on more of those root vegetables. Those, like, I consider them like the comfort foods. Those are the comfort vegetables.
Yeah.
Little starchy, a little sweet, super flavorful, and they work exceptionally well to make quick and easy soup. So that's what we're going to do with this today. And again, talking about what can we do to elevate the flavor of our vegetables, of our plant-based foods, right? So in the first recipe, we focused on the dressing, playing with some sours and umamis and sweets. Now for this one here, we're going to talk about the Maillard reaction. So the Maillard reaction is that searing that you get from different ingredients, and it's actually the sugars, the natural sugars that are caramelizing in those foods, and you get that almost that brown, that color on the outside that just brings out a ton of flavor. Okay, so what I'm going to do really simply with these parsnips is gonna just cut them to about an even size. Okay, so a little bit larger chunks, and what I'm doing is just kind of rotating back. I'm turning it, and the key here is just to try to keep them as even as possible. That way they cook evenly. Now with some parsnips, you're gonna have it like obviously pared down to a very thin part. Just try to cut that off as like a bigger chunk. So again, it cooks as evenly as you can. Okay, so we're just gonna rotate this, cutting them into little chunks. And actually, the parsnip, Steph, do you know what family is? A little food quiz. Do you know what family the parsnip is in?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like, what is it related to? What other vegetables do you think it's related to?
Oh, like potatoes?
No, that's a good question. Carrot is another common answer because it looks like a carrot, but it's actually part of the parsley family. It's related to parsley. Yeah. So.
But what you mean, like the what grows out of it?
No, that's not parsley, but it's in the same family. It's in the same family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's really
cool.
It has this obviously sweet carrot-like flavor to it, but it has almost this like mild herbaceousness to it as well. So it's really great ingredient. Okay, so finished chopping these last ones here, and then I'm going to add them to my dish. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm roasting these at about 375 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven. Because I don't want to burn them. I want to get some nice caramelization out of them while also softening them up as well. And then to this, I'm also going to add a whole head of garlic. This seems like a lot of garlic.
Caramelize. Yeah.
In its raw form, this would be way too much garlic. But when it caramelizes, that heat is sort of dissipates, and you're going to get more of that sweetness and that, like you said, that caramelization in the garlic. So the whole head is actually going to be really, really great in here. So I'm just going to cut just the very top off so that I can expose those little heads. Okay.
Yeah.
I wash the outside really well ahead of time because I'm just going to throw it in with the rest of my ingredients. Okay. And then to season it, I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of salt, and that's it. Very simple.
Very nice. Yeah, and garlic is one of those anti-inflammatory foods that you do want to incorporate more. And, you know, in terms of the benefits of eating plant-based, right, there's so much research when we look at meal patterns of people. So it's not necessarily like a diet, but it's more of the overall average and way that people eat when they look at different studies. And if you've ever heard of the Mediterranean diet, although I don't like the word diet because it really is a meal pattern. And so really it does focus on these plant-based foods. So tons of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lots of healthy fats. Yes, of course, they are incorporating some animal-based foods like poultry, meat, fish, eggs, right, some dairy, but that's not the primary. So if you look kind of like at that triangle, the base of it is filled with those plant-based foods. And what do Mediterranean-style diets have? Well, lots of onions, garlic, tomatoes, eggplant, right? So you want to incorporating all those, and those do show lower levels of inflammation.
Okay, so here we go. Really simple, right? Head of garlic, parsnip, salt, olive oil, right? Can't get any easier than that. You can absolutely add a little bit more, right? If you want to bump this up, you can definitely, use maybe some like garam masala, right? Or maybe some rosemary or thyme.
Or turmeric. That's
turmeric,
also an anti-inflammatory property. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm just keeping it very simple, but you can definitely take this to another level. Okay. So we're going to throw this on a sheet pan and I'm going to roast it in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. Again, 375. Keep an eye on it. We don't want to burn it, but we do want to get some color. And what I'm going to do with the garlic, just to protect it, is that cut side, I'm going to put it face down on my baking sheet. Okay. So bake some ahead of time. Taking it out of the oven. And as you can see, we have, get you down here. My laptop's falling off the books. There we go. Okay. It's still a little hot. So I'll bring it up here. So you can see this like wonderful, like
browning, nice caramelization.
Caramelization on the outside. And so the parsnips, which already tasted great, are on another level now. Right? Once we sort of caramelize those natural sugars in there, we soften the vegetable up, but we also just really enhanced that inherent sweetness. Like this is just almost like candy at this point. Really, really good. And then my favorite is this garlic. Like look at the garlic. Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. And if you give it like a gentle squeeze, you get, this amazing roasted garlic puree inside. Super easy. Again, really didn't, we're just taking a natural ingredient on its own and just treating it with some slow heat, and you're completely transforming the flavor, right? So what I'm going to do now is just blend this up. And that's what's so easy about this, is I don't have to really simmer it on or in a pot, right? I'm just going to throw it now all into my blender, and we're going to make this beautiful puree. So we'll add all my parsnips there. And I'm going to save some of the garlic behind the plate on top. Otherwise, the rest of the garlic, obviously don't put the skins in, but you're going to squeeze out all of that garlic puree. Try not to waste any. This is like gold at this point. All right, so we're going to put all that garlic puree in there. Wash my hands quick. This is a little sticky. And we're going to add this is a plant-based protein, and Steph mentioned it before, are some beans. These are just white cannellini beans, or you can use white kidney beans. You can use chickpeas as well. And again, the canned ones, they're just super easy. You can definitely do them from scratch, dried. But these ones, just take a can, drain and rinse, and you're good to go. So I'm going to add about a cup of the beans.
Yeah. And these are actually great foods that all the ingredients they're easily stored, right? Can of beans, you might have garlic, parsnip, or that stores for a long time, right? So kind of just thinking about like, at this time you might not want to be going to the grocery store very often, right? So these things are things that might last for a longer period of time.
Okay. I'm going to top it up with some vegetable stock. So this is just some warm vegetable stock. Obviously, you can use chicken stock.
Or water, right? And just kind of add some flavor.
Use water as well. And then just adjust the seasoning afterwards. This is just a very, very simple veg stock. Okay, and then it's mostly savory and a little bit of sweet, obviously from the parsnip. I'm going to add a little bit of acidity to this. You can add a little squeeze of lemon juice or vinegar. So this is apple cider vinegar, which I think works really, really well with parsnips. And I'm just adding like a tablespoon. So not too much, but that little bit of acidity is going to help bump up the flavors. And then I'm going to puree this, okay? So don't mind the noise. I apologize. And we're just going to get it nice and smooth. And those white beans are going to actually help to make it really nice and creamy as well.
And Jerry, you could use other lentils or beans too, right? Like chickpeas or...
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Anything. Like just because the parsnips were white and I wanted to
keep that in. Yeah. This is always the awkward part because where are we looking and I can't talk over the blending.
All right. So I'm going to throw it back into our pot. And what I love about this too is the most work is just to cut up the parsnips. Then you're letting them sort of do the rest of the work for you.
Absolutely. And you don't have to do this all in one day. Like you could roast your parsnips. Usually when I make soups, there's the component of roasting and then, putting all together in the pot. And I find sometimes when you have to cool down the roasted vegetables, I'm already tired by that point. So I'll just roast my vegetables, whether that's a squash soup, a potato soup, or something like this. And then the next day, blend it all together, cook it up, and serve.
Absolutely. So I just put it right back into the pot. And if I'm serving it now, I could obviously throw this back onto the heat. It is still nice and warm because the stock was warm. But you can see here, like it's just super creamy, super velvety. And that's just really from the starchiness of the parsnips and the white beans.
Yeah.
And so you can adjust.
Well, I was going to say what I love about this recipe is that you're getting your portion of protein in. So, I was talking about earlier, trying to look at things on a plate, but it could definitely be a bowl too, right? And in this recipe, you're getting your vegetables, right, from your parsnips and your protein from those white beans. So this is so great. And if you want some other color, you just add it with the carrot recipe that we made earlier.
Absolutely. So really, really simple. And what I'm going to do is some of that roasted garlic that I saved before. Just going to put that right on top.
Nice.
And there it is. Very, very simple. Very, very flavorful roasted parsnip soup.
Beautiful.
Awesome.